Hug. Ooh. Is that for me? Is that for me? Oh, you smell. This video is brought to you by Jeb. Hello. How are you today? My name is Thomas Brush. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe. I'm also working on a game called Once Upon a Coma, and I love my job. I've been making games for about 10 years, and I want to convince you. I want to tell you 5 reasons why you should make games. Why game development should be a job you consider. The first reason why you should consider making games as a career is, believe it or not, making games is an incredible conversation starter. Even today, I had Charter come over to give me internet for the new studio, and we talked for an hour about my job. We talked about game development, all the cool things that are involved. He asked me if I made Fortnite. And I said, no, most people ask if I've made Fortnite. They go, hey, you make games, you must have made Fortnite. No, I wish. I honestly can't tell you guys how many times, maybe once a week, I get to talk about game development. I'm doing it right now, but I get to talk about it with strangers and just tell them what I do, what my job is, and why it's a great job. People are usually really interested in it, and honestly, it's a great way to make friends. I know that's bad, but it's a great way to make friends. All right, the second reason why making games is so much fun is it's honestly a really fun identity. Now, you gotta be careful, because if one thing is your entire identity, if it falls through, then you crumble. So you don't wanna make game development your entire identity, but it's certainly fun to be a piece of who you are. I've had previous jobs like being a shoe salesman, popcorn creator. Not a popcorn creator. I worked at a concession stand at a movie theater. I was fired. And then I was also, I did auditorium cleanup, and then I worked as a graphic designer. So I've had a plethora, is that a word? Plethora of jobs. And each one sort of convinced me that I really wanted to get into game development. It's really, all the identities of working at a certain job don't even compare to being able to be somebody who makes games. Again, it's a really fun conversation starter, but it's also a fun person to be, to sort of embrace that identity and be someone who makes games. It's certainly cool. It kind of has a rock star vibe maybe in the nerd community, and that's really cool. All right, guys, really quick, I want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Production Crate. Now, hold on. You want to click the X button. You want to get out of this video because I'm talking about sponsors. Well, hold on. I've been actually working with Production Crate, or using Production Crate, for the past 2 years. It was only until like a month or two ago that I actually had them as a sponsor. They have incredible sound effects, and I've used them in my videos and my video games. Great sound effects, great music, and great motion graphics. I'll be honest with you guys, most stock audio, stock motion graphics websites, they kind of suck. But Production Crate really has incredible handcrafted music, graphics, and sound effects. So if that's something you guys are interested in, click the link below. All right, the third reason why you should consider making game development your full-time job is you get to play God. I mean, this career has made me really think honestly about the concept of God and also the concept of being human. I know this might sound weird, but the moment I started making games, it started making me think, is this what being a human is really all about? And that is creating worlds and telling stories. Guys, think about who the most popular people, who the most idolized figures are in our lives. And I'm not saying this is a good way to think, but go with me for a second. Who are the most idolized people in the world? Well, it's probably people in Hollywood, stars, or maybe YouTube personalities and influencers. These are really people who tell stories. So human beings are, for some reason, we're attached to telling stories. And so when you make games, you get to play God, and you get to embrace sort of this natural tendency to create worlds. And you get to be an artist, an illustrator, a musician. You get to be a coder, an architect. You get to create characters and tell stories. You get to create puzzles. You get to manipulate the player. I mean, there's so many things that you can do and play God. And it's so funny, when I'm making games, suddenly I feel maybe 1,000 times more human than when I leave the office. And that's a really cool feeling, and it's hard to explain it to someone who hasn't made games. All right, the fourth reason why making games should be a career you consider is that you get to fly all over the world. You get to experience conferences and people from all cultures all over the world. Now go with me for just a second. You're thinking, well, that sounds really expensive. Why is it that game development allows you to do that as opposed to other jobs? Well, the thing is that when you make a game, you can work with a publisher and you can also get sponsors and you can also work with software companies who find you valuable to their brand. Now, thank you, Unity, because Unity actually flew me out to GDC in San Francisco. And some of you are thinking, Thomas, you have 150,000 subscribers. Of course, they flew you out. I don't have 150,000 subscribers, so I'm not going to get that opportunity. Believe it or not, 10 years ago when I started making games, that was when I was 18, the first company that I worked with as a publisher flew me out to GDC, and that was when it was in Austin, Texas. I've been flown to South by Southwest. I've been flown to PAX. I certainly was able to at least engage with people at E3, even though I wasn't there personally. So there's been plenty of opportunities for me to fly all over America to experience the gaming community and different sort of sections and cultures of the gaming community, and honestly just experience great cities and great food. I know that might sound like a weird point to make for game development, but it really is something that I sort of hang my hat on. I get to experience the world, I get to see the world, and it's basically free, so that's pretty cool. All right, the fifth reason why you should make games, and this one, guys, this one is huge, is that the ceiling for your career as a game developer, it's endless, it's infinite. Well, there's a ceiling above my head, but if I looked through the ceiling, it would be endless. It'd be stars and galaxies. The indie game world is like galaxies, and that's pretty cool. So what I'm trying to say is that my previous job as a graphic designer, honestly, I knew there was a ceiling. I knew what the cap was. I knew what the salary cap was, and it wasn't great. And if I wanted to go beyond that salary, I knew that I would need to either change careers or change jobs or move to a different city, something like that. And I knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to move my family around. Also, the opportunities available to maybe get exposure or get some form of, I like getting a little bit of attention, honestly, and the opportunities to get attention and awards and get people to see my work, it wasn't really available in that job, in that career. So jumping to game development made me realize that you can go to a six-figure salary, or, obviously you can make $1 million. That's not true for me personally, but I know that in the future that opportunity is always available to me. It's kind of like having a light at the end of the tunnel, especially when you have a bad day. All of us have bad days, whether we're students or working a desk job. We know that there's a grind to the work we do, and that's certainly not unique to just desk jobs or being not a game developer. I feel that way all the time. There's a grind to the work that I do. This hair is driving me insanity. But I like how it looks. It kind of looks like Jonathan Taylor Thomas or Michael Jackson. Okay, that's better. There we go. I can see much better now. Just ask Jonathan Blow. Just ask Edmund McMillan. Just ask Michael Jackson. There are so many people out there who have made a ton of, it could be wealth, but it could be influence, it could be notoriety, or just feeling satisfied in their career. These are things that you can't really achieve if you have a job that's safe. So I would just recommend that if you're somebody who is brave or wants to be brave, making games could be the career for you, because the ceiling is endless. All right, guys, those are 5 reasons why game development should be a career that you could consider. It's really a great job. I've been doing this for 10 years. Doesn't mean it's not stressful. There's plenty of stressful days, but it's really a fun job. It's exciting. You get to play God, you get to travel the world, and have great conversations, even if it's somebody who's installing your internet. There's incredible conversations to be had about being a game developer. Guys, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, hit the comment button. Leave a comment and I'll try and answer as best as I can. I have a Patreon account, and it really does help me out, guys. The reason I make videos is my sponsors and my Patreon account and just interacting with you guys. It helps support me, it supports the studio, it helps me make games. If you guys want to support on Patreon and join private streams and chat with me and my wonderful, beautiful personality, consider sponsoring on Patreon. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye. Love you.